Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of this Level Up series on how to use Google Drive. In this episode, we'll be going over some fun and practical uses for your Google Drive account. I will also be showing you some cool tips and tricks that will save you time and help you get the most out of your Drive account. Let's get started. Hey, everyone, welcome into my Google Drive here. In this episode, I'd like to take some time to show you how I use Google Drive. So I'm going to show you some practical uses for Google Drive today. So the first thing I want to show you is um, how I use Google Drive to keep track of vehicle repairs. So I have this folder here called Vehicles, and I have a folder here called Scans, and I have a Sheets spreadsheet called Vehicle Maintenance. So let's go ahead and open up this spreadsheet. So this is a spreadsheet that I created that I use to track repairs to my 2005 Honda Civic. So I have a column for dates, where it was done, what was done, how much it cost, what the mileage was when it was done, and when I need to have the service done again. For example, in this case, 2 front brake pads. It was done at 124,000. The next service is at around 174,000. But the next column are my notes, and in this column is where I keep a link to a scan of the actual invoice. So if I hover over it, I get this pop-up here, and I can see part of it. If I click on it, that will open up the actual invoice from this particular service. I do this because, number one, auto repair is a huge expense that you obviously need to keep track of. I also do it so I can remember when I did a particular service, so I remember when I have to have it done again. One great thing about this setup is that you could use it for anything. Say you're a small business owner and you want to keep track of your expenses so that you can know what you can write off your tax as a business expense. You can use this exact setup. You just have date, where it was, what the cost was, and a place where you can keep your receipt for your records. Another practical use for Google Drive is sort of a personal archive. I had this folder here called greeting cards. People in my family love to send greeting cards. Everyone gets tons of greeting cards. And what happens to them? They end up just sitting around your house forever. And you feel bad for wanting to throw them away because someone put a lot of thought into that. But with this system, you don't actually have to, they don't go away once you throw them away, because what I do is I scan the card and I put it into my Google Drive. And so I have them broken down by subject. So for example, if you go into birthday, I haven't completed this yet. So I have them by year: 2014, 2015, 2017. Some of them are, it's sort of an incomplete archive still. So what I do is I get the card, and then after a while, I will scan it into my Google Drive. That way, I can always have it, even if I don't have the actual physical copy. So it's a good way to hang on to memories without hanging on to a lot of unnecessary paper and creating a lot of extra clutter. All right, so now I'm going to tell you my absolute favorite thing I do with Google Drive, and that is my recipes folder. I am the primary cook at my house, so I have to have all of my recipes organized in one central location. And so here you can see I have my recipes broken down by food type. Google Drive helps me keep all of my recipes organized. And since Google Drive is mobile, I can have it on my phone, I can have it on my iPad. I can just pull up Google Drive, get the recipe that I want, and have it right there in front of me. It's all right here in my Google Drive. So as you can see, these are PDFs that have been printed off the web. They're scans of cookbooks. This has saved me an incalculable amount of time having all of my recipes in one place in Google Drive. And if you'll recall, if you look at these folder icons, every single one of these folders has been shared. So if someone says to me, hey, can you share this recipe? Well, of course I can. I can just pull it up in my Google Drive and I can share it with you. You don't have to go looking for it. It's all in one place right there in Google Drive. So those are 3 practical ways that I use Google Drive every day. Google has given its users a quick way to create new files on the fly without having to go through the Drive interface. Now you can do this in any browser, it does not have to be Chrome. If you're logged into your Google account, you can create a new Google Doc by opening up a new tab in your browser, and then in the address bar, type in doc or docs.new, docs.new, and that will instantly create a new blank Google Doc. You can also do this with Sheets, sheets.new, slides.new, and you can do it with forms and sites as well. Now, any file you create this way will be saved in the top level of your Google Drive. So we'll call this one today, and we'll type in hi, and then close it, close these two as well. And then we see here's the file that we just created in the top level of our Google Drive. But after watching the last episode, it shouldn't be a problem for you to move it where you need it, right? Another cool thing you can do with Google Drive is save an image of a complete web page. To do this, you'll need to equip your Chrome browser with the Save to Google Drive extension. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, first thing we do is open up a new tab, and then in the address bar, we type in Chrome Web Store. All right, click on the Web Store link. And then on the left-hand side in the search box here, we're going to type in Save to Google Drive. And then make sure we're doing extensions. Then hit Enter. And the top option here is the Save to Google Drive extension. So click on that. And then on the right-hand side here, with this button here, Add to Chrome. So we'll click on that. And then we get this warning box telling us what it can do. That's fine. Add extension. Okay, then we get this pop-up here. Save to Google Drive has been added to Chrome. Okay, all right, X out of that. Okay, to save the image that you want, just go to any web page. In our case, we're going to go to library.nashville.org. And then on the upper right-hand side of your browser in this puzzle piece looking thing here, click on that. And then down here in this list are the list of all the extensions that I have. So now that we're on our website, we hit Save to Google Drive. And it will scan the entire website and then generate an image of the website. Here we can see this is what it's called, homepage, nationalpubliclibrary.png was saved to my drive. Okay, close. Now if we go back to my drive in this tab, we can see the file here that's been created. This is the image of the web page. This is the entire web page in image form. And we can zoom in, scroll around. Now you would use this if you just needed a piece of a website that you wanted to keep and you wanted to make sure that you always had it because web pages change all the time. So that's what you would use this tool for. Another thing you can do with this extension is to download images with a single click. So let's go to Google Image Search, and we'll search for something simple like forest. So here we have our picture, and then we will right click to get the original version. We'll open the image in a new tab, and then we'll right click, Save Image to Google Drive. That will open up this pop-up. You can see that the image was saved. You can hit close, and we'll go back to Google Drive, and there is the image that we saved. And so now, with both of these images in the top level, you can put them wherever you want. Earlier, we talked a lot about using a scanner to place things into Google Drive. The mobile version of Google Drive comes with a scanner included. And that's how I do the majority of scanning for my documents that I place into Google Drive. So let's take a look at how that actually works. So this is my iPad, and we're going to go to Google Drive. And here's my Google Drive environment. And so you want to go to the folder where you want your scan to appear. So we're going to go into Recipes, and then Soups, and then in the bottom right-hand corner, notice the plus sign. And so we're going to hit Create New, and then go to Use Camera. Okay, and here's the recipe that I want to scan into my Soups folder. So I'm going to use my iPad's camera to actually scan this document. And then at the bottom, you hit Use Photo. And then we'll see our scan appear in the folder. And so it has the name IMG_1899, which is not particularly descriptive. So in the upper right-hand corner, if you hit the three dots, you'll get a pop-up menu where you can rename your scan. And we'll call it turkey, meatball, and rice soup. And then hit rename. And that is how you use the scanner, which is, I think, one of the most useful features in the entirety of the Google Drive mobile app. Adding attachments to an email in Gmail is probably the most convenient way to send a file to someone, but there are limitations. Gmail limits the size of attachments to 25 megabytes. To get past that limit, you can send a file as a link from Google Drive. To do this, in an open email message, click on the Drive icon. It's down here at the bottom. So then we will navigate to the files we want to send and select them. In the bottom right-hand corner, you'll notice that you can either insert them as a Drive link or as an attachment. Sending a link will work for any file saved onto your Google Drive. You can only send items from your Drive as an attachment if they were created somewhere other than Google Drive. So let's do a couple examples here. So in my recipes folder, let's say that I have a recipe that I want to send to someone. I can navigate to the recipe that I want and say that it's this one. So I select it, and I have the option to either insert as a Drive link or as an actual attachment. So in this case, we'll do attachment and then click insert. Okay, and then we can see that is attached here to the email. So let's do another one. Go back to the Drive icon, and then back to recipes. And this time we'll do a bagel recipe that I have saved in here as a Google Doc. Go to breakfast, and then here's my bagel recipe. So I select it, and then down here at the bottom it says Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides documents will be shared via a link. So I don't even have an option to send it as an attachment. I have to do the link. So we'll hit Insert. And it gets put up here at the top. All right, so one more example. We'll do a really large file for this one. So I'll go to where this video resides. And this is a video. So I select it, and then we get a message down here at the bottom. Because you selected more than 25 megabytes to attach this email, the selected attachments will be shared via a Drive link. So we don't even have an option here. It has to be the link. So we hit Insert, and there it gets attached as a link. I know this video here is about 700 megabytes, so it's way larger than you could send via email as an attachment. But since you have it saved to your Google Drive, you can now send this to someone via email where you couldn't before if you had it saved only on your personal computer. So that's what Direct Share via Gmail does for us. It allows us to send files that are much larger than would normally be allowed via Gmail. Sharing a Google file as a web page is a great way to publish information to the internet for a large audience. Anything you share is entirely public, and if you use the right search string, it can be found via any search engine as a lightweight page on the web. When you share a file to the web, Drive creates a copy of it with a unique URL. This allows you to make edits and publish changes when you want to, and it also prevents viewers from seeing any source material. So here we have a Google Docs file, and we want to publish this to the web. So to publish it to the web, we go to File, and then we go down to Publish to Web. And so we get this pop-up here. It says Publish to Web, and then it says this document is not published to the web. Make your content visible to anyone by publishing it onto the web. You can link to or embed your document. So we're going to do the link. So we hit Publish, and it says, are you sure you want to publish this selection? Okay. And so here is the URL that it generates for us. Okay, so we'll hit Control-C to copy it. And so let's see what it looks like in a new tab. We'll paste it into the new tab. And here we see our Google Doc as a web page. It's not a perfect translation, but all the information is there. And so back to our pop-up here. If you want to stop publishing this to the web, you click on Publish Content and Settings down here at the bottom of this pop-up. And where it says Stop Publishing, just click on that button. It'll say, are you sure you want to stop publishing this document? Okay. So close that. And then let's try our link again. So we paste in our link, the old link, and we can see that it still works. This link that we have copied will always work, but any changes that you make to this document will no longer be updated in this particular URL. So just because you clicked on Stop Publishing doesn't mean that anyone won't be able to find it, but they won't be able to see any more updates that you make to that particular document. Remember, anything you publish to the web is available for anyone to see, so you should never include sensitive or private information in your files. So why even publish to web instead of just sharing? Publishing to the web is for if you anticipate a particular document having a very large audience. Sharing only allows you to have your document viewed by 100 people simultaneously. And even then, if you wanted to share it, you'd have to have their email address. Publishing to the web is if you anticipate a large audience, more than 100 people, comprised mostly of strangers who will be viewing your work. So publishing to web is good if you have like a research document that has a whole bunch of links that would be pertinent to a whole lot of people that could be anywhere all over the world. That's why you would publish to web. Sharing is more about collaboration. Publishing is more about just getting information out to people. If you want to really save yourself time and clicks and become a Google Drive power user, you'll definitely want to familiarize yourself with keyboard shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts are your way to do things in Google Drive or in the programs without having to click through menus and submenus. If you're in one of the programs like Docs or Slides, you can access the keyboard shortcuts at the bottom of the Help menu. Or in the programs or Google Drive itself, you can open up the shortcuts menu by hitting Control// on your keyboard. Okay, let's go ahead and look at some of the keyboard shortcuts that are available in Google Drive. Now, like I said, you can access the keyboard shortcuts menu by clicking on Control and then the / at the same time on your keyboard. So you press down Control, keep holding it down, and then hit /. And that opens up the keyboard shortcuts menu. There are quite a few here for Google Drive. On the left-hand side here, they're broken down by subject, selection, go to, application, create, upload, menus, and actions. So if you go to create, if you want to create a new folder, it's Shift and F. A new document, Shift T, presentation, Shift P, spreadsheet, Shift S. You go down to actions. These are things that you can do with a particular file or folder. You can rename it by clicking in, share it by hitting period, remove it by hitting delete, that's obvious, and move it by selecting Z. All right, we'll close this, Shift T, and that creates a whole new Google document. That's not unlike doing docs.new, but in order for the keyboard shortcut to work, you have to be in Drive. I can create a new folder by doing Shift F. That creates a new folder. I can cancel that. I can move items. If I click on our G Drive tutorial folder here, if I hit Z, that brings up this menu here, which we've seen before in previous episodes, where I can move this folder into another folder if I wanted to. But if you really want to save yourself some time and become like a really powerful user of Google Drive, you got to learn these keyboard shortcuts. They'll be a big, big help to you. All right, now we're going to talk about saving a shortcut to a file in multiple locations. If you have a file that you're using in multiple projects across several different folders in your Google Drive, your first thought might be just to copy the file and have one in each place. However, that can lead to problems. Number one, if you're worried about running out of storage space, copying a large file may not be a good idea. Also, having multiple copies of a file can lead to confusion if the original needs to be changed. And if you change one version of it, but then forget to change it in different versions of it, and then you've got inconsistent documents. The best course of action is to create a shortcut. You can do that by selecting a file and then hitting Shift Z on your keyboard. Okay, and then when you do that, this pop-up comes up here, and then we can navigate to where we want to create a shortcut of this document. Okay, we'll put it in books. Okay, and then we'll add shortcut. Shortcut added to books. And then go to my drive, and then into books, and then we see the same file here. But the icon is a little bit different. This is the typical Google Docs icon. This is the Google Docs shortcut icon. So this is not the actual file. This is just a link to the original file. And so we don't have to worry about going into each file and making the same change a whole bunch of times. So it saves time and it saves confusion because eventually you're going to forget to make a change and it's going to be a problem. And so just have the one original and then link it with various shortcuts if you're using that document in various locations through your Google Drive. If you're like me and you constantly misspell the same word the same way over and over again, Google Docs has a solution. Under the Tools menu, click on Preferences, and then look at this pop up. In the right-hand column, you'll see the word Substitutions. So click on that, and this is a list of words that are automatically substituted in Google Docs. If you type in parenthesis, C, parenthesis, you'll get the copyright symbol. If you type in 1/2, you'll get the half fraction. So, for example, I always misspell narwhal like this when it is actually supposed to be like that. And so I type the mistaken spelling in the replace column, and then in the with column, I put the correct spelling. So we hit OK. And so now in our document, if we type narwhal incorrectly and then space away from it, it changes it automatically. Another example would be received. So then we go type in the correct spelling and then hit OK. And then if we type in, it fixes it for us again. Another example would be if when you're starting a sentence, you hold down the shift key just a little bit too long. I do that all the time. So if you're starting a sentence with the word the and you hold down shift too long, you can end up with something that looks like this. Okay. And then if we type in, there we go, fixes it for us. So that is one more cool trick that will hopefully save you some time when you're working in Google Docs. Okay, for our next tip and trick, we're going to be talking about the Explore tool. The Explore tool is a fantastic way to use the power of Google to enhance your documents and make research a little easier. You can use the Explore tool to search for websites, images, or even your own Drive files. You can even use the Explore tool to cite the sources you find. The Explore tool will try to predict what you may need based on what you've already typed. The Explore tool is available in Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. So let me show you an example. Here we have an open Google Doc with the title Emerald Ash Borer. Let's say we had to create a document with some basic information about this invasive insect. In the lower right-hand corner is where you'll find the Explore tool. Click on it and a side panel will open on the right side of the screen. You can type in your search terms in the gray panel next to the magnifying glass. Now that we have our search terms, we can see below the search bar the three sections: Web, Images, and Drive. Web contains links to various web pages about our topic. Images shows us pictures from the web based on our search. And Drive will show you items from your own drive that match your search terms. Our report is going to need a good image, so we'll start with the Images tab and pick an image. There are two ways to insert one of these images in your document. The first way would be to click on the plus sign that appears when you hover your mouse over an image. If you click on the image itself, the image will open in a preview box. There is some important information in this box. At the upper left, we have the source of the image in case you need to cite its location. At the bottom is the usage rights information, so you can know whether you can use this image for your particular document. At the top center is the Insert button. Click that and the image will be inserted into the document at the current location of your cursor. Next, let's use the Explore tool to add some information to your document. In the Side tab, click on Web. Here we have our search from Google. Let's see, we can click on one of these links, and let's copy some text from this website and paste it into our document. And we'll copy and go back to the document and paste. Now, since we didn't write this text ourselves, we'll have to cite the source it came from, and with the Explore tool, that's easy to do. So we hover our mouse over the link to the website we pulled the text from. In the upper right-hand corner of the box will be a button with quotation marks. Click on that, and it will generate a citation for us at the bottom of the document, which is nothing short of miraculous if you've ever had to type your own citations. The default citation is MLA, but if you look at the three dots next to web results, you can change it to APA or Chicago. The Explore tool is incredibly helpful, easy to use, and will hopefully become a tool you will depend on. All right, for our next tip, I'm going to show you what I think is one of the coolest things in Google Docs, and that is voice typing. To access voice typing, we go under the Tools menu and then go down to voice typing. Or if you're working on your keyboard shortcuts, it's Control-Shift-S. So that opens up this little box right here with a microphone in it. And so what voice typing does, it allows you to talk into your microphone and it will type out whatever you say into your document. Okay? But that's not all that it does. But let's start off with a pretty simple example. So to start voice typing, you just click on the microphone and then start talking. The Human Torch was denied a bank loan, period. All right, pretty simple. But that's not all that voice typing can do. Okay, so let's try it again with another sentence. New paragraph. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog, period. So we were able to create another sentence again, just using the voice. But did you notice before I said that sentence that I gave it a command, new paragraph? Voice typing can also understand certain commands, and you can use that to change the formatting of what you've typed. So check this out. Select paragraph. Bold. Text color, red. Capitalize. Align center. Increase font size. Increase font size. Increase font size. Pretty cool. So with just my voice, I was able to increase the font size of the text, turn it red, make it bold, capitalize every word, and align center. All with just using my voice. But that's not all that I can do. New paragraph. Create bulleted list. Dog. Insert bullet. Cat. Insert bullet. Fish. New paragraph. So this is just a small sample of what you can do with voice typing. To see the full commands list, go into Help, and then Docs Help, and then just type in voice, and then type with your voice, and that will open up the Help menu here. And then if you'll scroll down to the bottom and click on Open in a new window, and if you scroll down here to Step 3, Use voice commands, inside each one of these drop downs is the full list of voice commands. So you can format your document. You can even add and edit tables with your voice. I will tell you, however, that as the commands become more complex, it's less likely that Google Docs will actually listen to you. It's not a perfect system, and sometimes it wants things said it wants things said in a very particular way, and so it's just something you need to play around with. But if you're just dictating text and doing some very simple commands, I think that voice typing could save you a whole lot of time and is a very useful tool in Google Docs. Okay, so the last tip that we're going to talk about today in this video is putting emojis into your folder names. So we know that we can change the colors of our folders to make them more easily identifiable. But Google Drive also allows us to put emojis into the names of our folders. So how do we do that? First, let's get some emojis. So here we have our website here with all the various emojis in them. All right, so I want to add an emoji to my recipes folder. So just scroll down to where we can find the food emojis. So let's add in this steak emoji. So we'll copy that, Control C to copy. Then we go back into Google Drive, and then we right click on the folder, and then go down to rename. And we don't want to rename the entire folder, we just want to add in our emoji. So just deselect the text, do a space, and then Control V to paste. And then there is our emoji. We'll hit OK. And so there the emoji shows up in our folder. So that's just a little minor thing that Google Drive lets us do, but you can use it as a way to better differentiate your folders if you have a lot of folders. So it's just a little cool thing that Google Drive lets us do. We hope you have enjoyed this tutorial series on Google Drive. For more great content from the National Public Library, check out our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.